The first lesson is saying no to jobs you are not right for. They probably had to evacuate Italy. This brand new Subaru Crosstrek hybrid is over $600,000 cheaper than the new Ferrari Luce. So it's time for an emergency therapy drive to discuss what is going on over in Italy. If you have not seen the news, turn this off. Don't look at anything. You're living a better life for having not seen it. Ferrari, our storied historical brand of opulence, status, beauty, penmanship, really. I mean, everything down to the literal letters of what they do on their cars has been so beautiful. But since the 488, they have started to fall because that's when they stopped using Pininfarina. The 458, I believe, is kind of the last beautiful, beautiful car. And now we're looking at a Subaru Crosstrek, which I think has much, much better design than the Luce. So this is what I've been living with for the week. It's actually pretty darn good. And it's 35 grand. So let's get out on the road and start talking about what the heck is going on in Italy, because mistakes were made. So Ferrari decides to jump into the EV game. I'm fine with that. I mean, it's not really their heritage, it's not what they do, but go for it. Like, if you can make something wonderful and fast and a performance vehicle on some alternative fuel, I'm all for it. I'm not anti-EV. There's plenty of EVs that I like, that I enjoy. I'm in a hybrid right now, and I love it when I'm hypermiling it. I love being able to recuperate energy under braking. My gripes with electric vehicles stems more from the performance side, because while they're incredibly fast, they're also just incredibly heavy because you've got to add all these batteries, blah, 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 blah. So that's where my gripes come from. I like light, nimble, sporty things. And to me, that's what Ferrari is about. Albeit a big heavy V12 might be sitting up front, but it's certainly lighter than a big battery pack. So all said and done, I was pretty excited for what Ferrari maybe had in store, but I don't think I was optimistic. So they hire Johnny Ive of Apple fame and Mark Newson, neither of which have a portfolio that says car designer. I think Mark Newson has like one car design maybe, or at least one that I've seen. And frankly, it looks like the kind of toy model car that a non-car person would give to a car person at Christmas or their birthday, and they have to go, thank you. Like, it just looks like a play school toy thing. And maybe from an industrial design standpoint, it's a nice thing, but for a car lover, it is just a blob object with suicide doors, and I don't really understand. Like, I don't want to put that on my shelf. I don't want to look at that. I always liked actual cars. I wanted to have models of like a McLaren F1 or a Porsche 911, or even Cadillacs with the big fins and the convertible top, and a Pontiac GTO. Those were the things I wanted to look at. But if you just kind of hand me what looks like the illusion of a car, like someone just kind of chiseled and sanded a piece of wood and was like, here you go, it's a car. It's like, yeah, I'm all set. Like, the play school car is not something that gets me excited about cars. The first lesson is saying no to jobs you are not right for. For whatever reason, Ferrari decided these were the guys. These guys are incredibly talented. They are prolific in design, and their designs are out in the world. I mean, Johnny Ive has designed Apple products for years and years and years, and you've interacted with them. You've liked them. You've put them in your homes, you've put them in your hands, and you've enjoyed those designs. It is insane. We're going to stay over here to not mess with this ambulance. It is insane that a man with that much experience doesn't understand his own style and where he belongs. Someone that was almost certainly going to be remembered for his phenomenal design is now has this big red mark on his portfolio. And I mean, look, I don't know where you go from here, but I'm perfectly aware that I'm not correct for certain jobs. If you are trying to sponsor my channel and you're a watch company, okay? I don't have a watch sponsor, but if I did, it would make a lot of sense. And I'd say, yeah, I'll wear the heck out of that watch and we'll put it on the channel. I'd be the right man for the job. But if you are Summer's Eve feminine wipes Well, I'm probably the wrong person to advertise that. And just because maybe I have a great history of advertising, or you like the way I speak, or I know that that's not a match. We see this in politics all the time. There's people who are like successful in whatever entertainment industry they're in, but it doesn't mean you should be the governor or the mayor or a congressman. Like, you're wrong for the job. And these people, for whatever reason, did not notice that they were wrong for the job, despite the fact that we all thought they were wrong for the job. So now they can no longer, after the ill-fated launch of this Luce, they certainly cannot be summering in Tuscany. In fact, I don't think they can. They probably had to evacuate Italy. They probably have to go. So what's wrong with the Luce? Well, first of all, it does not follow any style of a beautiful Ferrari. There's a few cues in there for sure. You've got the round taillights, but none of it works. It's all too modern. It doesn't follow the historical relevance. It's like hiring a graffiti artist to add to the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. You need to have the style down, otherwise it just absolutely does not match. This could have been one of the most incredible electric vehicles of all time from a design standpoint. Even if performance was meh, doesn't matter. You could have designed something that looked like a 400i. You could have designed something that looked like a Testarossa or a 365 GTC. Like, there's so many incredible, beautiful designs to choose from. But instead, they made it look like a robo-taxi from Tesla. And for some reason, this was greenlit along the way. And I think that's why we're all left a little shocked, because we can't believe that this vision was overseen and produced. It almost looks like an intentional failure, which is so bizarre. So let's get into the performance. It doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because it doesn't perform better than like any EV on the market. There's nothing about this electric vehicle that is superlative. It is not superior to even the not well-received Mercedes-AMG that came out like 3 days before this was launched. So it's not faster than anything. It doesn't have better range than anything. It's not more efficient than anything. It has a neat interior, I suppose, and that's where maybe the Apple design comes into play. But otherwise, it just makes no sense. And I guess it does have a superlative. It costs $640,000. So it is easily the most expensive of its kind. And I just can't imagine who is looking for this, because I've spoken to some of my Ferrari collector friends, people who own outrageous Ferraris, people who are given the opportunity, and we'll get into this, given the opportunity to own special Ferraris, like an F80 or an FXX kind of thing where they're track only. But Ferrari notoriously does not just let anybody buy their cars. In fact, if you want to be on a list to buy some of their best cars, you need to put up and buy a lot of other things. So there's a reason why every Ferrari sells out, and it's because people want the good ones. And if you want the good ones, you gotta buy the bland ones. So I'm not gonna say anything bad about the California or the Roma or the Portofino or the Amalfi or any of these kind of cars, because like they're fine, but they're not as good as their sales figures would indicate they are. I'm gonna watch out for some of these tires. We're doing good. Okay. The reason these cars all sell out is that because Ferrari has engineered a system in which if you want to buy the next great Ferrari, you cannot simply go to a dealership and say, I have the money, here is my check, here is my spec, build me my car. No. You must have bought a Purosangue and an Amalfi, and you got to work your way up, and you have to show them that you're dedicated to the brand before they're going to entrust you with their prized creations. So that's where this car comes into play, where universally it has been ill-received, and I'm very curious to see what the actual sales numbers look like, because people might be forced into buying them in order to get whatever the next thing is. I'm very confused by the brand overall, though, because since moving away from Pininfarina, which is the design house that has created Ferrari's reputation in terms of style and beauty, since they've moved away from that, things have just started getting very blocky and sharp, and it's tough. It's tough as a Ferrari fan. Now, obviously, as a Ferrari fan who cannot afford Ferraris, what say do I have? But that's what's wild about Ferrari, is that it is more than its owners. It is more than simply what say the people who actually go in and buy them. Its perception globally matters by everybody of every class, because anybody with eyes can look at a car and know if it is or is not a Ferrari. You might not know it's a Mercedes or a BMW or an Audi if you're not a car person, but I'm pretty sure anybody with eyes can look at a car and say Ferrari. Like, they know. It doesn't matter. It's like transcends language. And this car, this Luce, if you took the badges off of it, I just don't think anyone would know what it is. And they certainly wouldn't guess it was $640,000. So that's where this has really missed the mark. What's interesting too is that, not to be critical of Ferrari owners, but Ferrari owners, part of the Ferrari ownership experience is being noticed in your Ferrari. It genuinely matters that you're seen and perceived as a Ferrari owner. That, like, wow, that's my dream. I wish I was in that car. Well, I don't really think that's going to happen in this thing, and that's the first time I've ever experienced it. Now, a connoisseur, someone who maybe doesn't like the California tea, might say, oh, that's just a California tea. But to the layman, to the people who are just observing art, they still know it's a Ferrari, and they're still like, hey, that's a cool car. So even if you're a car person and you're not a huge fan of every single thing Ferrari does, globally, the greater population, general population, 100% knows and envies that car. That's just the way it is. But for the first time, as far as I can tell, that's changing. What does this mean for the future? I have no idea, because they're going to have to do a big old about face and figure some things out. Now, I already saw that they're trying to sort of like repair this on their end, maybe from a PR standpoint, by releasing a manual 812 or something. The 12 cylindri. Sorry, I can't even keep track of these cars anymore. It's getting silly. I think it's too little too late. I think that's great. They should have been doing this a long time ago. But to try to cover up this PR disaster, at that point, who cares, man? That's not enough to repair the damage that has been done. Also, if you look at the Tifosi, if you look at the Formula One fans and how critical and brutal and important they are to the reputation of Ferrari, and how angry they get when things go wrong, and F1 strategy with Ferrari has not been a strong point in a very long time. I'm just shocked that this would be greenlit and uncovered after it's been seen. So those are my thoughts on the Luce. I am confounded, and I think the real lesson to be learned here is, if you are a talented artist, if you are talented at your job, and somebody offers you a very large check to do something that you are pretty certain you shouldn't be doing, it's okay to walk away from that money, because is it worth your reputation? These designers, I am genuinely worried about these people if they ever set foot in Italy. Tomatoes will be thrown. Tomatoes will be thrown. So let me know your thoughts down below. What's the next step? Where do they go? How do they repair this? And is it just like a status symbol to be able to pay over $500,000 for a car that seemingly nobody wants? I don't know. I'm very confused. But honestly, the real winners this week is Mercedes-AMG, because they got away with it. No one's talking about it. Could you believe this? They were probably panicking. And I just don't want to hear anything about Jaguar anymore, because the Jaguar at least looked like it had some heritage in it. Simple design for sure. It's very like bland and like, you know, it's like taking a high resolution image and reducing it to its only, you know, 10 pixels, and that's the Jag. Okay, I get it. But I can see the heritage in there. People just got mad at the marketing because they're weird. I don't know. I don't even care. But now, no one will be talking. So, congratulations to Mercedes-AMG and to Jaguar, because Ferrari has bailed you out. They really have. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I got to go to Bond Group and go drive something cool, something beautiful. And I'm actually really enjoying this Subaru, so we'll do a full review in this car after I've driven it for a few more days. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I will see you in the next one.